Boom. What's up, boo? We live, we live, we live,
Hey, can y'all
we
see me?
live, we live. I see you. So
Oh, really?
listen, let's
I
go ahead
can't
and get
even.
this party started.
I can't even see myself tonight.
I see you. I see you looking good, girl.
Thank
That
you.
hair is popping.
Y'all have to excuse me for 1 second.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let me see if we showing up online. See if we showing up online. Are we online? Yes, 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 yes.
All right, all right, all right. Okay, Derby City Dynamite.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was supposed to be at practice today. I just had too much going on. So we got a game tomorrow with my Crawford team. I should have represented Crawford today.
Right.
Let me get my phone off so I can hear. So what's up, everybody? Welcome to Hits and Heels with Danny and Terry and Danny. Episode number 6. 6 minutes.
Yo, 6. We've been in this for 6 weeks strong already. That I promise it seems like it just like we just
started last week.
Like we just started. Like literally just started.
Last week. Right.
Crazy.
Right. So listen, I am Coach Terry Bryant. I am a one of the very few female football coaches across the nation. I coach middle school at Crawford Middle School in Lexington, Kentucky. I am married to Cisco Bryant. I have 2 children that are just thebomb.com. And let me let my girl Danny introduce herself to you because she is doing big things. She is down in my home state right now, kicking it. Danny, what you got going on down there?
Oh my gosh. So I'm super excited. This is actually my first official business trip for the new job. Many of you were watching, and if you weren't, I feel like it's like allow me to reintroduce myself.
Come on now.
Right? So I am officially 2 weeks in as the Director of Strategic Communications for the Gulf Coast Athletic Conference. We are based in New Orleans, but I am currently in Alabama for our cross country championships. The race is Friday. And so we have I think one of the hardest parts about being in like a communications position is like you got to hold on to some things until it's time to release it, right? So I get all excited and pumped up because it's like, gosh, like we have so many great things going on. And our commissioner is none other than Dr. Kiki Baker Barnes. And when I tell you, she is like thebomb.com. Okay. When we talk about women in athletics, she is synonymous with Black women in athletics and women in athletics. I mean, just her ability to lead, but also her ability to build a team. She's very innovative. She has incredible foresight. And so to be part of her team is, I'm so honored. And so, I came down early this morning. My flight left Cleveland at 6 this morning. So I'm exhausted. Y'all. Like I'm ready. Like when we log off, I'm gonna be up under my bed. But because I don't stay up late anyway. So if I'm up late, then you really like you in for a treat because it's about to be Comedy Central if I stay up late. But um, so yeah, it's we're 2 weeks in. We're excited. We've got some great stuff coming down the pipeline. And one of the things that I get to launch in probably my first 3 months here is going to be our new website. And so I'm really excited about that. Um, Gulf Coast Athletic Conference is part of the NAIA. We are a conference of all HBCUs. So there are only 5 HBCU athletic conferences in this country.
I didn't know there was only 5.
There are 5, and we are one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's big stuff.
Yeah. So it's really exciting to be part of this and not just be part of this team that's growing, but also be part of a growing athletic conference and be part of the initiatives to grow our conference, to rebrand our conference, and to let the world know like we're not the 5th HBCU athletic conference. We are one of the 5. So I think that's important for people to know. You know, everybody think it's just the MAC. I'm sorry, the MEAC,
And
the SWAC, and the CIAA. But there's also the SIAC and the GCAC, which is the Gulf Coast Athletic Conference where I am. And so I'm really excited. I get energized thinking about the fact that I get to wake up each day and do this. Like this doesn't feel like work. You know, and it's really exciting because I'm not just spreading the word about an athletic conference or a coach or a team. I get to work with these student athletes and tell their story and lead the initiatives to help each individual school spread the word about their student athletes and their coaches. And to me, that's a great honor. That's a huge honor because not everybody gets that opportunity. Absolutely. And so I do not take it lightly at all. I'm all in, sis. I'm all in.
Well, listen, your boy Dion was on 60 Minutes yesterday. Mm-hmm. After the game. Was it after the game or before the game? I can't remember when it comes on. Anyway, so, and I love how he has put the whole HBCUs on blast in a good way, because now the nation is going to have to start taking notice of the HBCUs and the different conferences as far as, funding, sponsorship, and athletes that are now going to take notice and look into, okay, what is a HBCU and what would be my advantage of going to an HBCU? Because maybe they're not getting offers at Power Fives. Because one of the things that Dion talked about was how the HBCUs aren't necessarily going after 3, 4, and 5-star athletes because they feel like that they can't get them.
Right.
And so now when you see, maybe some athletes that maybe are looking at maybe not getting recruited like they want to, but can go and be an impact at an HBCU. And then when they see, again, just the energy and everything from an HBCU, you're going to look at it totally different. Because one of the things that they asked Dion was like, why didn't you go to HBCU? He said they didn't recruit me.
Right.
He said they didn't recruit me. And then when he goes to look at and talk to coaches and stuff that are in HBCUs, they don't have the confidence to go after 4 and 5 stars because, number one, they can't compete with the facilities and the resources that the Power 5 or regular schools have over the HBCUs. Because again, when he said he went to Jackson State, he said, "Ooh, they had to do a whole total revamp because it was raggedy."
Yeah, but I think that speaks raggedy. I think that really speaks to getting the right people in place, right? So if we have the right people in place, they can take the conference, they can take that school, that program to another level.
And that's why I'm glad that you're in an admin position, because you're that type of person that can go ahead and take that conference to a whole level. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I think one of the things that I love about the Dion situation is that he's not just good for HBCU athletics, right? He's good for athletics
Athletics,
overall.
period.
Like, period. If this is
Yes.
not it's very much needed in our HBCUs, like no doubt about it. But also if you look at who he is overall and how he has changed the landscape of athletics, you know, his name alone brings a level of attention. So wherever he is, he's gonna capture attention,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
But the fact that he's using the platform that he already has to bring attention to his school, to HBCUs and HBCU athletics, I think is so critical because we need people in these spaces and places that are going to elevate our story. And I think that's something that you and I have been talking about for a while now, is that we're here to elevate the stories. We're here to elevate Black voices. We're here to elevate voices of women in sports. And so, it really excites me. And so if anybody sees this, Dion, Mr.
Holla at your
Primetime,
girl.
holla at us. Um, I need to talk to you. I
Right. Right.
need to talk to you, Dion.
Man.
Um,
I mean, I got some athletes. We got some athletes because my son attends Frederick Douglass High School, and we're like the number. I think we're number one or number two in the whole state, right? Um,
mm-hmm.
but we got some athletes that aren't getting recruited that are good because our depth is so good. We got
Right.
a lot of kids that if they were on another team someplace else would be starters and would probably be superstars. But because we have such a great program there, we're like Alabama or the Georgia of
Mm-hmm.
of our team in our city. You
Right.
go to Alabama and Georgia, you got to be a monster to be a freshman or a sophomore to be able to play because you're getting ready to
Listen.
sit for a couple of years, right?
Right.
Behind because the level of talent is just so good. Well, that's how our school is, and I'm just saying, Deon, we got some players up here in Kentucky. Don't be sleeping on Kentucky.
Listen.
We doing a better job of developing players here. Come holler at your girl. I can put you on. Let me see
Right.
you some
Listen.
huddles.
Dion, you need to make Coach Terry your recruitment
Man,
coordinator.
man, help me be your recruiting coordinator. I got you. All right. And speaking of recruiting, so I'm sporting my Derby City Dynamite because every week I
Yes.
got some new theme or whatever like that. So today I decided to represent my Derby City Dynamite. So I am an assistant coach for the only female tackle women's football team in the state of Kentucky. They are the
Woo,
only
woo.
professional team that has ever brought a national championship to the state of Kentucky. It is woman owned and Black owned, and I am so proud to be a part of this organization. Of course, we had practice today. We have a scrimmage on November the 11th, somewhere close to Louisville. I'll definitely be putting that information out. Hopefully,
Yes,
there's a
please do.
flyer out pretty soon, and we'll be sharing the flyer so that anybody that wants to go and support us. We're looking for sponsors. If anybody wants to sponsor a women's tackle football team, I mean, it's not a gimmick. They can hit, they can play. We got some athletes. They ain't no joke. They ain't no joke. I'm so excited. Even my husband is like, you need me to take you to practice? He done took me to practice the last 2 weekends, because I did the podcast on the way home in the car.
Right.
But I think he was just low key because he didn't got intrigued with with just the whole process, because sometimes it is hard to believe that there is actually a women's tackle football league in the United States, and it's actually international. And I'm just so excited to be a part of Derby City.
Well, I'm so proud of you, and I know I keep saying the same thing over and over again, but I really want people to hear that, like, you and I were just talking about basically the positions that we've walked into, like within a week or two of us both getting hired for these new positions. And so um, it really leads me to, I think this is a great transition point, because I'm just sitting here like, oh my gosh, like, this is so amazing. It's so amazing. But it leads to the conversation that we started, and we were talking about this for an article. But I really want to dig deep into this because I think that it's such a powerful conversation, um, of partnering, having a partner. Um, I know your article has a different title, but for this episode, we calling this love and sports. And understanding the importance of having support. Um, but what does that support look like? And what does it feel like? And how it's different. Like I gave the example that my support is gonna be loud. I'm about to post you. I'm about to promote you. I'm about to show I'm about to show you off. Like, this is my baby. This is what he's doing. Look at this. Look at that. Look at this. Look at that. You're about to get all of that from me, right? But my partner may not be the opposite in his level of support, but his support may be quiet. And it may look like, babe, you were gone at practice, you were gone, you were on the road, you were doing this, you were doing that. Dinner's done, the clothes are washed, dishes are washed. It looks different. And it doesn't mean that your partner doesn't support you. It's just that how we display our support is different. And we talked about what, like, loving people the way they feel loved, and how when you have a partner, and especially like in your case, when you are both into sports, and not just into sports, but you're both coaching. You coach together, and then you each coach a sport
Separately.
separately. So let's get into this. Let's talk about this, and talk about, because I think this is an aspect of sports that we don't dive into enough. And from my experience, from what I've seen, and with others, but then also personally, sometimes um, it can cause a rift in a relationship, because um, we're not talking about expectations, right? We're looking at someone and saying, well, why aren't you doing this, that, and the third? And their response may be, but I'm doing 4, 5, and 6.
Good
Why isn't 4, 5, and 6 good enough?
enough.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about love and sports, and what that looks like for you and Cisco and your family. And how do you balance, how, like, literally, how do you balance wife, mom, coach,
Jobs.
cheerleader, job?
Yeah. Um, Girl, prayer. I mean, let's just be totally real. I mean, if God probably wasn't the head of our household, it would be tough. And then he and I are both type A personalities, right? Um, and
Mm-hmm.
so when people that know him and people that know me, when they see us together, they're like, how do y'all make that work? Because they're thinking I'm just this overbearing, mean, trying to control him. No, I'm very I'm gonna use the word submissive because a lot of people just don't like using that word, right?
Listen.
But I totally honor and respect my husband as the head of the household, right? And so that's very difficult for a lot of people to
Yeah.
get that. But the reason why I'm that way is because when he was in a previous relationship, it was the total opposite. He didn't have the support, he didn't have the respect um, that he needed to be as a man, as a husband, as a father, and as a coach in his household.
Yeah.
Um, and so, um, and so when I looked at that, I had to make a decision on whether, number one, whether or not I was felt up to living up to that role.
Wow.
Can I handle um, all those dynamics, right? Because even with us, we're a blended fam. I mean, we both work two intense jobs. Like our jobs are intense, both of them. Mine is very physical and his is very mentally draining. So we both work two full-time jobs. So we both coach football together
Hmm.
at Crawford, the middle school team. And this is our fourth season. We play tomorrow. Tomorrow is our last game, regular season game of the season. Right now we're 7-0. We're hoping to end the season tomorrow 8-0. Last week was a doozy. My voice is probably still raspy because we should have lost last week, and we pulled it. We pulled it out. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. We played a really, really great team. We threw the ball over, turned the ball over, I think 3 times at critical times. And then our team stepped up. They didn't quit. Right. So we both coached together. Now he just took on an assistant head coaching for back with coaching high school baseball. And he's coaching a 12U summer, like a summer travel team. Okay. So, oh my God. Right. And then now, and I coached the women's Derby City Dynamite. They're in Louisville. So I have to travel. That's like an hour away. It's like about an hour and a half away. Right.
Right.
So that's travel time to and from there. And I don't know if I'm going to do it, but I'm planning on going back to coaching track in the spring at the same school that I coach football at. Right. So while he'll be doing baseball, I'll be doing track and football. But it might just be the football. I don't know. But I really want to go back to coaching track because again, that's just a passion of mine. And we have a lot of great kids, and we have opportunity to do some great things there. And they didn't get coached last year. So though, okay, so we got kids. So luckily, so our daughter is grown. So she lives in Chicago, but Ty lives here part-time because we're a blended family. We have game tomorrow. I have practice on Thursday. My husband does night school I think he did it tonight, and then he'll do it again on Thursday. And then Ty has his game on Saturday as senior night. So this is going to be intense. And then, we still like to entertain. So, we'll watch, luckily Kentucky is away this Saturday. So we'll be home. But last Saturday we was at the game. We was at the, we was at the game. So we did had that whole schedule, and then we were at, the game. Right. And that's just, I mean, it's just bam, 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 bam. Right. Team no sleep. Literally, like I never get into bed before 12 o'clock at night. And people are like, Terry, how in the world do you do it? I'm not gonna lie, I don't know. It's just when you're excited, when you get up excited and you're doing things that you want to do.
Yeah.
Outside of the jobs. Like, of course, if I can replace the jobs, but I'm thankful for the jobs because they pay the bills, right? But it's just, you wake up like, okay, what is today's adventure? What am I going to learn today? What do we got going on today? All of that. Our son is going to University of Kentucky to play football. He's a candidate for Player of the Year. We've been a little bit frustrated with that because the team is so good that he's only been playing the first quarter. Girl, we're blowing people out the first quarter of the game. So he's not even playing a half of a game all season. Right. And so I guess the panel for the player of the year is only, I don't know who they are, but they go by stats. So he's not getting stats because he's
He's
getting
not getting the
and
stats.
I'm not mad at the coaches because I'm thinking like, well, can y'all play him? But they're like, well, why why risk playing him in a game that just to get stats? To me that's an
Right.
integrity thing. So so me and my husband are kind of at odds at that, but it is what it is. We just have to agree to this. Sometimes you just have to agree to disagree, and then that's how you just make it work, right? Because ultimately it's his decision. And that's kind of how we make it work. So if we disagree with something, he makes the last decision. We go with it. If it works, it works. If it don't, we get past it and we work it out and we move on forward. But I'm gonna tell you right now, prayer, and more prayer and more prayer, and being understanding of each other's strengths and weaknesses. So I'm gonna tell you right now, he is dressed right, dressed, bam, 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 bam. I'm flighty like a mug, right? So if we weren't opposites, it would be intense all the time. Like if we were both, again, we're type A personalities, but if I was always bump, 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 and he's bump, 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 I think we would bump heads. Whereas I'm more laid back. I'm like, look, I ain't got time. I'm tired. I'm the laundry gonna sit in the dryer for about 2 or 3 days before I fold them up. Whereas when he'll get them, he taking them out and folding them up right there, and he's putting them in the drawer and putting them up, right? That's him, right? And that's how we kind of make it. It works for us. He don't. I found we never had time to cook. So we have a meal prep place that I go and I buy like 10 meals for the week. It's less than $100. The bomb, healthy, so we always got a meal in the refrigerator. So it ain't like we're just fast fooding it all the time. And sometimes we do fast food it. Yes, we do. We have to,
absolutely.
right? But that's not one of the things that he, as a wife, a traditional wife should be at home cooking and cleaning. That's how he supports me. He doesn't hold me to that traditional wife duties as far as, okay, is my food cooked when I come home from work? Well, woo, I've been at work all day too, and I've been at practice too. I've been doing us too, and and I run a business, right? And so it is it's the support level, the level of support of each other. I mean, I can't even put to words because I would not be in the position that I would be in with coaching with Derby City or coaching at Crawford, getting the magazine articles that I've been given, had he not put me in a position to coach football. And I was having a conversation with my daughter today that who would have thought 5 years ago that I would even be in this position? Every time you always look at, what are you planning on doing in 5 years? This one definitely wasn't in the plans. When you and I met, it wasn't even in the plans when you and I met. I mean, we was coaching football, but the Derby City one wasn't even in our conversation when we first met. And again, that was, I think that level of support from him and believing in me, helped propel that. Yeah. But then I believe in him as well. Anything that he does, I'm supporting him. Now, I'm always trying to push him on the forefront, but he's content with just being in the background. Mm-hmm. And so then I just have to respect how far he wants to take his, because I'm always wanting to push him farther. And then at the same time, he's pushing me out of my comfort zone as well. And it's just
right.
It's just I don't know. I can't put it to words. It's just working out for us. And I'm just so excited about our life. I mean, when people say you're living a dream, when I tell you I'm living a dream. I mean,
absolutely.
How many husbands? I haven't found any. I mean, there's 200 and 300 million people in the United States, and I'm thinking like, how many couples are coaching middle school football together? Right? There's There's not a lot. They might be coaching like, Pee Wee or
Right.
Parks and Rec or something like that, but not at the level that we are. And we love being an influence to the kids. We love impacting lives. Again, our backgrounds are kind of similar. He lost his dad at a young age, so he was without his dad, and he had a great stepfather.
Yeah.
I had a great stepfather. I come from a broken and blended family, and so just all those dynamics we're able to speak on, and we have so many references and experiences that we can relate to so many different people.
Yeah.
And we love impacting the community. Again, I mean, I can go on and on. We just had our follow-up meeting yesterday with the Layshoff, with the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame. We finally, and I missed them so much because we was almost every week, every other week,
Right.
we were meeting for 2 years planning that.
Yeah.
And so to go almost a whole month since the gala and not speaking to them and not communicating with them has been like, oh my God, I missed them. And the relationship. So I think my biggest thing is relationship building. And I love the relationship that we created. We both were in, broke relationships that were broken. We had to get over some hurts. We had to do a lot of forgiving and forgetting, and we had to do a lot of reflection on who we are, who we want to show up as a wife and as a husband. I know I did. I really had to check myself as far as how I wanted to show up as a wife, to not, find myself getting divorced again, because actually the second and third time when you get married are actually the percentage rate is lower. You have a higher rate of getting divorced again, because I don't know why. I think it's because of the whole blended family thing, because that's probably the hardest thing to do, is dealing with that whole blended family thing. And that's a whole conversation we can have at another time. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, girl, you can't be no punk as no stepmama.
I'm trying to tell you.
You can't be no punk as no stepmama. You've been there too. You can't be no punk as no stepmama. You got to have some thick skin and be very understanding of being a stepmom. And a lot of people don't understand the dynamics and what we go through as a stepmom, because they're not in our shoes. And so sometimes it looks like we're not, I don't know. It just looks like we're complaining, or we're not understanding the situation, when we're like, okay, y'all ain't understanding the situation.
Yeah, it's like you're either
you're not understanding the situation,
as complaining or being a hater, and it's like,
right?
no, I'm actually neither.
Absolutely, far from a hater, right? Far from a hater.
Like I'm navigating motherhood with a child that isn't mine. Biologically, but I don't treat the child,
but I don't treat them like it. Yes,
biologically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that there's so many intersections when it comes to your situation and the life that you're living. And I think that the way you and Cisco have come together to make sure that it works, making it work doesn't mean it's perfect.
It doesn't mean it's perfect. It just works for us.
It's literally like a football team. Literally, it's like a sports team. Like, you have several different players with several different personalities, several different abilities, and you, as the head coach, or the offensive coordinator or the defensive coordinator, whatever your position is, you have to find the best way to make everybody's stuff work together. And so when we're talking about love and sports, like your situation, it is absolutely critical to have a teammate, a partner that understands your weaknesses and theirs, and is okay with sharing the responsibilities of making this thing work. Because Like for me, I look at it now. I have no intentions of leaving the field that I'm in now. I left athletics once. I was gone for 8 years.
Never again.
I may die in a gym or on a football field,
Yes.
and I am okay with that. And it has helped me really look at what I wanted to do, even with my own business. That's
Mhm.
transforming, into doing more consultations and like, yes, it's going to be a brain picking session, but here's your invoice to pay first. Um, rather than me being the worker bee. I love being in the position I'm in now where I get to help I get to be one of the quarterbacks. I get to be one of those coordinators that is, and I don't, this is going to sound crazy, like calling the shots, but doing so in a way that makes the team better, right? Because it's
Fact.
not about me.
It's not about, no, it's about the team.
It is literally about the team. Because if the team looks bad on one play, guess what? We all look bad.
We
We
all
all
look
look
bad.
raggedy,
We all,
you
yes.
know? And
You know,
so
I
I
think you hit
think
that on the nose, sis. I think that was the key right there, what you just said, right? Even with our whole dynamic, what you just said right there, because I know so many people that are in a relationship with someone that doesn't play sports.
Yes.
And so that whole they miss that there's a disconnect with that whole team concept. There's a
Absolutely.
disconnect there. So there's a disconnect there with, because I've seen it even in corporate America with supervisors and stuff that weren't sports oriented. And I totally bumped heads with them because they had no concept of certain team aspects of building a team, working as a team, and doing things for the betterment of the
Of the
team
team.
as opposed to them, because they most of the time they came across as very selfish and all about them
Yeah.
and not about the team.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that point across. I think I couldn't come across it, but that was it. So when you're looking at us, okay, so he's the head coach, but he's the head coach of the house. Okay. As a coordinator, I might be running the plays because I'm helping to pay the bills. I'm taking care of all the household stuff like that. Whenever something gets broke, I'm taking care of all the household stuff, right? But if there's something that I do and he's like, well, we need to do this, while he's still ultimately the head coach.
Listen.
So I can't be mad if he comes up to me and was like, look, I need you to run this play.
Right.
I want you to run it up the middle. And I want ABC to get the ball. And I'm thinking like, I ain't trying to play. But because he's the head coach, I'm going to respect what he wants done. Right. And I think, that, sometimes coordinators, get, feel like they're being micromanaged. And it's not about being micromanaged, right? Sometimes you just need to, let's go back to Remember the Titans. Remember the Titans when I forgot what's the white coach's name? I forgot his name. Right. Yeah. So anyway, for when when he got to the point where in the game where he was getting tore up on defense, he was like, Herman, I need your help. I'm not above needing help. Just because I felt like I should have been the head coach and I should have been running this team. Okay, you're the man. I need some help. And I think sometimes that's where a lot of relationships get I guess get messed up. I'm not saying I got all the answers. I'm not saying that, right? But for us and how ours work, it has to work like that. He has to be the head coach. And I can't undermine what he's doing. I have to respect his decisions. I have to trust him he has to trust me. Even as a coordinator, he's still got to trust me to, to call certain plays in, in the household, or even on the field. I mean, I don't know how many I'm gonna tell you right now, I love telling the story. Our very first year, I was like, look, we got it's 6:33 left and we got to score twice.
Right.
I think you need to go talk to your offensive coordinator about some clock management, and he looked at me like, but that's just him. He has to process things first, and I was like, okay, he called a timeout. Next thing I know, I don't know how we did it. Girl, I wish it was on video. We get the ball back, we score. I forgot how much time was left on the clock. We get the ball back, score again, we win. We're in the championship game. Our first season.
Wow.
And that was at a point when I was feeling insecure in my role, because we got to know what our roles are. But I was feeling insecure in my role at that time because I still wasn't, it was our first season. I still wasn't sure, because I was like, well, there's lots of other people I felt like you are more experienced than me and know more of the game. But
right.
He trusted me. And then even at that time, he reassured me again. He was like, that's why you're here. He said, you know the game.
Yeah.
And I trust you. And it's stuff like that is the reason why you're here, because you're going to come and tell me something. I might not respond right away, or I might not respond the way you might want me to respond, but I'm going to listen to what you have to say. I'm going to process it. And then if I use it, I use it. And if I don't, I don't. Now, one of the things that I had to learn as a wife and as a coach is if I give advice and he don't take it, I can't take that personal. Girl, a sister would be all up in her feelings when I would be like, okay, we need to do this. We need to do, we need to do
right.
this. I was trying to get him to help me run the business. I was trying to get him to, do a website. I was trying to get him to, go, do all these other things. He's like, that's not me. That's not me. That's not who I am. That's not right. What I,
But now the flip side of it is, look at who he is. Because now you're coaching Derby City, and guess where he is? Right there with you. And so I think that when we get past the point where your support needs to look like the way I say it needs to look like, we that's when the teamwork comes in, right? Because my strength may not be doing these things, right? But I can still show you my love and my respect and my support in a different way. And I think we have to, it's not to say that we compromise or that we settle, right? We're not settling.
Not at all.
It's a means of understanding that my support is going to look different than the next person. It's going to look different from yours. Yes. However, you will still know that I got your back. And you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody finna run up the middle on and run a blitz on this relationship.
Absolutely.
Because they can't get through.
They can't get through.
They can't get through.
Come on, sis. Because they can't get through. Right? Our O-line is strong.
Listen. And the D-line is strong too.
And the D-line is strong.
The D-line is
right. You're not getting ready to run on us,
down.
And you're not getting ready to come and you're not getting ready to blitz on us. You're not getting through it, right? You're not getting to our quarterback, right? And so and I just totally love how you just totally just brought that around. Because it helps me to even appreciate him even more for our relationship, how our relationship is, and how we can impact others in that aspect, because it's just again, I just can't be thankful enough for bringing him into my life, and and me coming into his life, because even with my daughter, girl, why my daughter is always I know you ain't being smart with takes up for him, and I'm thinking like, but you my child, right? And so I love that relationship that even that they have. And of course, I treat Charlie like he's my child,
Right.
and can't nobody tell me nothing different that he ain't mine. Right. And so, that's my baby. And I'll hurt somebody over both of them, over the three of them,
Listen,
over the three of them.
because all y'all starting to look alike now.
Yeah. I don't play when it comes to them three. Play with them if you want to. Yeah.
I know that's right.
Yeah, I don't play when it comes to them, to them three. And I think that's the thing with I think athletics it teaches so many lessons, life lessons. And I think that's one of the biggest ones is the whole teamwork makes the dream work concept. Because when you don't have that mindset of what it's like to compete, the adversity that goes through having over. I mean, girl, we were losing, threw the ball away with 1 minute and 30 seconds left of the game. We was done. We did not have the ball with 1 minute 30 seconds left in the game. We turned the ball over. We turn the ball over. We have an opportunity to score, and we score. And then we had to get the 2-point conversion, and we converted, because earlier we didn't convert the 2-point conversion earlier in the game when we had scored. So being able to overcome adversity, sports just teaches you this, so many things like that. And I think the biggest lesson is the whole relationship, because relationship just drives everything else.
It also I feel like the right relationships.
Oh yeah.
We gotta have the right relationships, because the right relationship is also going to grow you, and you are going to be challenged, but those challenges are not going to tear you down. They're going to make you individually better, right? Each person gets better. Your relationship then becomes stronger, because like the Bible says, it's iron sharpening iron.
Absolutely.
Like when you rub iron against it, it doesn't get dull, right? It becomes sharper. It becomes, like refined. And I think that in relationships, love works that way, and athletics works that way. And so having the combination of the two is it's a real beautiful thing, because you understand.
Absolutely.
Sports also teach you how to communicate with someone that doesn't communicate or learn the same way as you. But guess what? You still have to learn how to communicate with those people that.
Oh my God.
Especially
with coaching, because, we got some kids that you can tell them what to do and they can go do it. You got other kids, they have to walk through it about 10 to 15 times before they get it. And then other ones, it's a combination of the both. You got to tell them and walk them through it. And then there's some kids you can jump in their tail. I can grab them by the face mask, and boy, if you don't get those stuff together. And then there's other ones I'm like, baby, come on, I need you to, I gotta really baby them up or something, because that's what they're used to. They're being baby, or they all up in their feelings, and they'll shut down if you jump into their butt like that, because they can't handle it. And so you have to learn, unlearn, relearn all the time. And that relationship building is just so much. But that's the trial and error of also being in relationships. So we're 9 years in, and I'm not gonna lie, that first 4 or 5 years was rough. I mean, it was a couple times I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not dealing with this. I'm done.
But that's coaching too, right?
And that's coaching too. Yeah. You're like,
oh my God, I'm done. Do this
I'm so
anymore.
done with this.
Like,
yes.
Like, y'all ain't. Yeah,
y'all not getting this. Or you got a team that's not talented, and you're just taking L after L, and
I told you 11 times how to block. I
You
told you
still not
11
blocking.
times.
You done
Don't
missed
throw
this
off your back
tackle.
foot.
Yeah. Oh my God. Don't let the receiver get behind you. Don't get beat deep. Oh
Right.
my God. And then what happens? They go get beat deep. I mean, again, it's so frustrating. It's just make the tackle. And again, that's just again life lessons of football. I mean, that leads right into I don't understand. It's not that I don't understand. I get it. Like women aren't. It's football isn't something that women naturally are going to be attracted to because it's a lot and it's hard to understand.
Right.
But I totally recommend women to explore.
Yeah.
And maybe not just football, but just sports, period, because of the lessons that are learned. Again, you learn how to you have to learn how to communicate. You have to audible sometimes. Sometimes whatever the plan is, you have to deviate from the plan, and you just got to do what you can do in order to get the play done. I think all of that. Sis, this was good. I appreciate you definitely taking a deep dive in it because again, when I get off, I gotta go hug him because I just gotta show my appreciation, just how much I more that I appreciate him and what he's done and who he represents. I the biggest part of my life is when we're just out in public. And
yeah,
in fact, we were at the game Saturday. We were at the game. And 2 rows up, some guy was like, "You coached me at Dunbar." Cisco didn't know who the heck he was. He coached at Dunbar 20-something years ago.
That's crazy.
Right. And so he got up and they went downstairs to, to talk and to chat it up. But that's the best. That's the best. That's
it
just
is.
When you hear people come up to you and tell you just how much of an impact, especially young men with my husband that now have children that are husbands, that are wives, and that give him, they attribute his teaching, his style, because he's hard. I mean, and he even said, I don't know why these kids love me. I was like, because you're lovable. Sometimes he's, you just want to hit him in the mouth, but that's anybody. I know he wants to hit me in my mouth too, right? So, but he's always going to joke. He's always going to be give some type of a lesson. I don't do a good job of recording his pre-game speeches and post-game speeches and pre-practice speeches because they be so good. They be so good. They remind me of the ones Dion do because Dion does some really, really good stuff. And he's like that. He's very, very inspirational. Before a game, during a game, even at halftime, he doesn't beat them up like I would. Like I had to change my coaching style based off of him. I'm a Bobby Knight type of coach. I'm wanting to snatch him up and it's football, right? And he's like, you can't
do that all the time.
He said you can't do that no more. He said no more. He said it was crazy as heck back in the 80s and 90s and stuff. He said, you can't do all that no more. And so it has just been a joy. And I can't wait to see how things transpire with the Derby City Dynamite. I absolutely love the coaching staff and the players. I've absolutely fallen in love with the players at Derby City. They are funny. They are trip, and I just can't wait to go on about. But we got a game tomorrow. And hopefully next week I'll be saying that we're 8-0 and finishing the season undefeated, going into the playoffs for that. And then hopefully I'll have more information on the scrimmage for Derby City. Maybe
awesome.
Maybe you can come in town.
Yes.
Matter of fact, our championship game is like 2 days before the Derby City scrimmage.
Now, I know I will be in New Orleans for
we already talked about that. Yeah, you said
like 12 days or something. The first 12 days in November.
Yeah.
Something like that. First 10 days, something.
I think the first 10 days. Yeah, because the 10th
know.
is, I think, the championship game, and then the 12th is when the Derby City will play.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, well, you'll miss it, but we'll catch one. Because I think we play Columbus in Columbus, I think, this year. Columbus has a women's team.
Yeah.
And we'll play I think Detroit, and I think someplace else we'll be going through.
And Detroit ain't but 3 hours. Columbus,
right? That's what I'm saying.
Hours,
I mean, yeah, I think we got a couple of places we'll be close to you, and you'll be able to come out and play. I can't wait for you to meet my teammates and the owners in person.
Yes,
we definitely got to get her in. It's been tough because we got practice. We've been practicing on Tuesdays.
Right.
So I'm thinking after the scrimmage will be a good time because we'll have some time between that and the season starts, and we'll try to bring her in there after the scrimmage. I'll try to schedule her in then.
That sounds good to me. Well, I'm excited. I will say this educational moment is don't worry about who they think you are. Be who you are and be the best you that you can be.
Absolutely.
Because like Dion said, Mr. Primetime, their insecurities is that's not your problem.
Yeah.
Their insecurities is not your problem. Your problem is competing with yourself and making sure that every moment that you have is better than the last one you just lived. And if you can do that, you can not only impact the people around you, but those are the type of people that impact this world. And right now, y'all can see we're in some crazy, crazy times. And we need a world that is dedicated to building relationships, to supporting one another, and making sure that we create ripples of change and positivity and deep impact everywhere we go. But it starts within ourselves. And so, again, don't worry about who they think you are. You be who you gonna be. Be who you is, right? And let the rest take care of itself. You be the best you can be. You do the best you can do. And you roll with the punches. Because at the end of the day, we've got this one life to live.
Come on.
This one life to live. And we need to make it the best doggone life that we can, not for ourselves, but to ensure that we get to build a team. Because teamwork makes the dream work.
And that's facts.
That's it, y'all.
I love it. I love it. I love when God just is all in stuff and he, he just gives you so much revelation on things. And
absolutely.
I know I was always just seeking, I think one of my biggest was always seeking, what am I supposed to be doing? And I finally, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, what are my gifts? And that's always has been a struggle for me. And I've fallen in love with coaching from the first time that I was stepped on the sideline to help coach as a player coach, and I fell in love with it. And it was just it's funny how it's just come into fruition the way that it has.
Full circle.
Even my pastor was like, he said, coaching is your genius, and I love the role. I love the role, and I love the role even as a wife and a mother. It's been absolutely fantastic. So great show, sis. Great show.
Yes. So, well, thank you all for joining us. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Hits and Heels. And make sure you also subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's just go to YouTube and search Hits and Heels podcast or Hits and Heels. Stay tuned for more action from Coach Terry Bryant and the Derby City Dynamite. All right. And hopefully I'll be able to go live on our page this Thursday and Friday, give y'all some behind the scenes action of what it is like to be in communications for
That'll
an
be
athletic
bomb.
conference. I'm really excited. We're hosting our first media day for cross country. So it's a new initiative for our championships where we are hosting media days as opposed to a reception. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm just like, whew, like my body is saying it's bedtime, right? Because
Mine too. Oh my God, I can't wait to get in the bed.
I had
I'm
to leave.
exhausted.
Yeah, I had to be at the airport at like 4:30 this morning for
See,
my
that's what time
flight.
I'm up every morning. Every
So
morning I'm up at that time.
you know, I didn't sleep much last night. We celebrated my grandmother's 90th birthday.
What a
So
blessing.
yes, we were partying with her. And my cousin drove in from out of town to surprise her. So everybody was just up late, and my clock is, whew,
Girl, you and me
bedtime,
both.
sis. But
And,
thank you all
but
so
this
much
is the
for
only time we
joining
can do
us.
our podcast because our
Listen,
schedules are
this is
so
it.
busy.
This is it. Tuesday nights. Every Tuesday, you get Coach Terry, you get Danny, and we're here. We hope that you all continue to join us, catch the replay, share this across your networks and your social media platforms. Let's chat. Join us every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube Live and on Facebook Live. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next Tuesday, October 25th, again, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, for another episode of Hits and Heels. Good night.
Good night.